And so she's someone that is very special to me. So I'm very excited that she has agreed to come up. And our next speaker is Courtney Chastain, and she is going to talk to us about dream interpretation and how to help make sense of our dreams and what they tell us and reveal to us about our day-to-day life.
Hi, it really is bright up here. So I'm Courtney, and I am a mom. Like Shannon said, we work together at a restaurant. Oh, get closer. Move it up. Got it. There we go. So I'm here to talk to you about dream interpretation. I did have a bunch of stuff written out that I was going to read off of, but what I want is for this to be more intuitive than that, because when it comes to interpreting your dreams, you have to be intuitive and you have to know how you feel and you have to be able to interpret the symbols that come from your dreams. So we dream 5 to 7 times a night because of REM sleep, but we only remember the dreams whenever we wake up and the dreams that happen right before we wake up. And a lot of the times when it comes to dreams, we may only remember 2 or 3 things that happen in the dream, but we always remember how we feel after we wake up after the dream. So what I would really like is for y'all to come up and ask me questions, to give me symbols. I can also start off with different examples. But if you have any kind of reoccurring dream that's been happening, maybe I can guide you and I can help you interpret your own dream. Because while I can interpret my dreams and while I can help you, I can't tell you what the meanings of your dreams are, because I don't know how your brain works and I don't know what you've been through. Because when we dream, we start to work through the emotions that either we've repressed throughout the day or that we have repressed for a long time. And they come up in reoccurring dreams and they come up in different themes. And there are some pretty common themes that I can give you. So when you dream of a house represents the state of your mind whenever you are dreaming. And so you may see that you walk into a house, and the house at first seems really well decorated, it's well put together, it's well built. But as you start to go through the house, you'll notice that you'll find rooms that are abandoned, full of cobwebs, where the windows are barred up, and you don't understand why, when you first went into the house, it looked so nice. And then whenever you get into the second bedroom, why everything has fallen apart. Well, that means that there's something that you have forgotten about yourself, something that you need to bring forth in your waking life to do better and be better, essentially. So, does anyone want to come up? Or would you like for me to give you examples of the things that I've dreamed and that I've worked through my dreams? All right.
Hello.
Hello.
All right. So I was born in Israel. I grew up. I came to America, first generation naturalized citizen. Fell on hard times, our family, and I grew up in an apartment complex. And as a kid, I could remember my dreams pretty vividly, or just one specifically, and it was one of me, during the day, or in the apartment complex. Sometimes it was at my day school, and what it would be me just kind of getting a running start, and just me, no accessories or anything, and just flapping my arms and starting to fly like this. And in some of my dreams, some nights, I would be very successful at flight, and I would be surrounded by, the kids in the neighborhood or my classmates at school. And other times, my other dreams, I would, try, and I would fail, and I wouldn't actually make flight. And Actually, one of my friends that I'm getting to know recently decided to, at some point, talk to me about a very similar dream that she had as well, and it was almost identical. And before you answer, I'm really interested to turn around and see if anyone else has this dream as a kid, or as anyone here in the audience has had that dream growing up. Let's see, maybe one. Okay, so maybe not common, but I thought it was interesting to find out that someone else also had this dream, the same as I did.
So flying dreams are actually really common. And whenever you fly, it gives you this feeling of freedom, of absolute freedom. And one of the things that, whenever you have a recurring dream of childhood, through your childhood, I think that it means that you had a really free childhood. And while you may have failed at times, it's more of the fear of failing that you were dreaming about than it was it's more of the fear of failure and the fear of being like trapped to the ground than it was actually about the flying. And so when you had those dreams where you were trying to take off and you couldn't, it's because you felt trapped in your waking life. And I mean, it's kind of hard to answer because what was your childhood like? Was it very, like a rough childhood, or was it like a good childhood? Was it a childhood where you felt free playing, or that you felt that you had to stay in one room and stay really quiet and you couldn't actually play?
I think it was a combination of both, actually.
A combination of both?
Yeah.
I think that kind of explains the dream. Yeah. It's at times, whenever you dreamt that you could fly, you felt really free. Whenever you felt that you were failing at flying, you felt that you were constrained and that you were trapped in your waking life. And that's really as simple as it is. Dream interpretation can be very simple or very complicated.
All right. Thank you very much.
No problem. Another question. Hello.
Hi. So I have had many reoccurring dreams, but a very common one throughout my entire life has been one where I can't seem to get to a destination. Like I feel like I'm way down or moving through water or slow motion. Like even when I can fly, it's like I'm just barely above the ground, moving super slowly. And sometimes it's somebody's chasing me and I can't get away, and sometimes it's a destination I'm trying to get to and I can't get to it. I'm going to sit down while you answer, though.
Okay. Well, you actually just explained your dream and you just interpreted it yourself. Whenever you feel bogged down and like you're just moving slowly, you can't get to where you're going, it's because in your waking life, you actually do feel that way. You feel that you're not completing your goals, you feel that you're not getting what you want to get done, and you're not moving in the direction that you want to move in. So if there was any advice that I could give to you if you still have those dreams, it would be to stay still and to notice where you are in your life and to take stock of everything that you have accomplished and then use that to move forward. So growing up, I had a really prevalent occurring dream. It happened a lot. It actually happened so much that I was hospitalized for it. But it wasn't because of the dream. It was because of the fear of the dream. I had a dream where I would go to the bathroom, and all of a sudden, this little boy would come out of the bathroom and be like, run. And so I would run, and I would start running, and I was trying to get to this one specific chair in the living room, but as I was running to it, it was getting farther and farther away. Eventually, I would get to the chair, and then I would wake up. But I was so terrified of being chased in my dream that I became scared of using the bathroom. These dreams started when I was 4 years old. By the time that I was 6 years old, I was having them so much, I had to be hospitalized for a kidney infection because I would not use the bathroom at all. And if you ever have dreams where you're being chased, any dream where you're being chased is a sign that you feel anxious, and it's a sign that you feel that you really just aren't going to where you need to go, and that you feel a lot of stress, and that you feel a lot of pressure on yourself. And so anytime you have those dreams, you just have to take a second, be still, and think about where you are going and where you want to go. Bathrooms. When I think of bathrooms, it's like the most vulnerable place in the house. Whenever whenever anyone uses the bathroom, like, you don't have any barriers up at all. And so if you ever dream of using the bathroom or someone else using the bathroom, it means that you're in a very vulnerable state. So Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, she wrote Women Who Runs with Wolves. She also has a book on dream interpretation. And in that book, she says that you take the dream, analyze the larger motive of my dream. Take the dream and analyze how does the larger motive of my dream fit the life I'm living now. Another benefit of recollecting dreams is absolute knowledge of your world. Not only insight into what might be going on, but absolute knowledge about what is really going on, calling in many cases a spade a spade. In that sense, dreams do a third thing, but by understanding us, they strengthen us, and they strengthen us with the resolve to move forward. Which really just simply means once you start to understand your dreams, I'm going to be real honest, I just got real nervous for a second. I got real nervous. I'm like rethinking like my idea that I rethought listening to the first speaker, that I was going to let this be really chill, and then the anxiety of a performance sets in. But oh, nice.
This might seem kind of strange. I don't dream all night, okay? Not at all. But when my snooze alarm goes off to wake up in the morning, in the 15 minutes from the snooze to actually the time when the alarm goes off, it's a crazy dream. In that 15 minutes, I could live a whole lifetime in that 15 minutes. But I always dream, it's always a place. That's it.
It's always in the same place?
It's a place. No. The place changes. And sometimes there's people, but there's no activity really. It's just the enclosure. I'll remember the texture of the walls. I'll remember the color of the wallpaper or something. It's just I'm just in a house, or I'm in an apartment, or I'm somewhere else. That's it. That's the dream. What does that mean?
Okay, so what you want to look at is the details you do remember. And so you remember the color of the walls. Colors all have different meanings. And so, red is passion and power. Purple is royalty. Blue is peace. Green is, I really don't even know what green is. But I do know that yellow is optimism, orange is creativity. So if you look at the color of the wall, you can just simply, whenever you wake up in the morning, go on your phone and look up the meaning of the color.
And I'll be affected by the environment too.
So environments are really funny because what's the environment like in your dream?
There's a general vibe about each house or each place that I'm at.
You're just trying to reach it?
No, I don't know. I can't explain. That's it. That's the dream. Is I'm in a house and there'll be people talking and walking around or something, and I'm just kind of like a fly on the wall, and that's the dream.
That is really
And it changes all the time. It's never the same place twice or whatever.
I wonder if...
Sometimes it's people I know, sometimes it's people I don't know. Or familiar people and old faces or new,
Do you ever remember the conversation?
Occasionally.
occasionally. A lot of times in our dreams, whenever we remember the conversations, they are actually conversations that have happened during the day that we've like overheard, but we didn't really pay attention to. And if you notice, the people in your dreams, like those, I mean, like you dream the image of the person, but it doesn't actually represent the person that you're dreaming of.
Sort of rethinking it in a different space, that kind of thing, like rethinking it all through a different space, like what you've absorbed through the day, just sort of like,
Pretty much.
okay.
But when it comes to people, it's your perception of them that you're dreaming of. It's your feelings towards them, and either it's the way that they treat you or the way that they have like spoken to you that you remember. Hold on, I do have to put out that. So whenever you dream of people, they represent your feelings towards them and their words, and how their words are represented and shape your relationship with yourself. So, personal example, my dad passed away a few years ago. I started dreaming of him, and in every single dream we fought. And it's because my dad was a really angry person, and in our like waking interactions, we fought all the time. And so when I started to dream of my dad, he like had already passed away, he wasn't alive, and he was coming to me in my dreams as this like basically a zombie. And we would still fight, and I didn't really understand what was going on when I started having these dreams. It was really scary to like see your like zombie dad come up to you and be like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? And me being like, dude, you're dead, get out of my dreams and leave me alone. I was like ready to get past this, and here you are, I'm dreaming of you once a week. It was actually me working through the feelings of anger and resentment that I had toward my dad. I still dream of my dad, but now when I dream of my dad, he is this like healthy, whole, glowing person, and we still fight in our dreams, of course, but he's actually giving me advice in my dreams now. And it's not that my dad's spirit is coming back to give me advice, it's that I'm giving myself the advice that I always wanted to hear from my dad. Another common dream theme is being chased, which we've already talked about. Being chased is the feelings of anxiety and overwhelm that are kind of plaguing you in your waking life. There's another common dream, and that is driving. And whenever you're driving in a dream or someone's driving your car, it's the direction that you're headed. But the car represents the control of the direction you're headed. So if you're driving your car in your dream, even if there are distractions around the road, there are people in the car with you, you feel in control of your life and you feel in control of where you're going. On the other hand, if someone else is driving your car and you notice it and you don't like the direction it's going, it means that you feel that you have given away the control, like you have given away your control, that you aren't heading in the direction you're heading in. You're heading in the direction that someone else wants you to head in. An example of that is recently I had a friendship breakup. And the reason we broke up, there's a lot of different reasons, but I had this really vivid dream of her driving my car, and it's nighttime and it's raining, and she's wanting to take me somewhere that I don't want to go. And so we get in my car and she's driving, and we're getting on the interstate, and she is like jumping over the median in my car. She's driving crazy. She's laughing the whole time, and she thinks that it's this like, not that she thought it. My friend didn't think it, but the way that I was thinking of her was that I thought that like she was trying. Not that she was trying to take control of my life, but I was giving away too much of my power to her in our relationship and what I thought of her, like what I thought she wanted me to do. And so I was essentially jumping over the medians myself to try and like go in the direction that I needed to go in to continue to be friends with her. Then I had the dream, and I was really angry in the dream, and I remember yelling at her and cussing at her, and then 2 days later I was like, I can't be your friend anymore. We're breaking up, I'm sorry. Do you have a question?
Okay, so there is a recurring theme in my dreams that is related to shoes. I lose my shoes, or I notice that I'm not wearing shoes. There's one where I was on a Ferris wheel, and I notice either I don't have my shoes or I'm paranoid of losing my shoes. And another one was where I'm in school, and I suddenly notice that I'm not wearing shoes. So it's always about the shoes. I'm not a shoe freak. I don't have a shoe thing. I'm just, for some reason, concerned with my shoes.
Well, shoes are kind of like a protection. And if you think of shoes, they are made to cover your feet so whenever you walk, you don't get hurt. Whenever you're dreaming of losing your shoes, I think that it means that you're dreaming is that you feel that you're not protecting yourself in some way, in some like really basic way, because pretty much everybody has shoes. We all wear shoes. They're required everywhere we go, and it's also required that we kind of protect ourselves everywhere we go. And so I wonder if you might be feeling not that you're feeling protective of yourself, but I wonder if you are feeling that you're not as protective of yourself as you need to be. And to really get into your dreams and to really interpret them, you have to like ask yourself questions about, what do shoes mean to you? Like when you think of a shoe, what do you think of? Is it just something that like you throw on so you can walk out the door?
Yeah.
Pretty much? Then I guess. To take another theme out of your dream would be school. And school is, whenever we go to school, it's like the childhood in a sense, and it's really kind of at the base of who we are as a person. And a lot of our formative ideas about ourselves are formed while we're in school. So there could be that you felt really unprotected in your childhood. You felt that you were put through a lot of stuff that you shouldn't have been put through. And whenever you're having these dreams where you are in school and you don't have the shoes, it's kind of reliving and working through that trauma of when you were a child and you felt unprotected, when you felt that you should have been like protected from whatever it could have been.
What if you just have smelly feet and you just want shoes to cover up smelly feet?
That's not being pretty personal.
But, I mean, there are some other things we could talk about when it comes to dreams, as one of the most important reasons that you want to interpret your dreams is so that you can work through your trauma and so that you can continue to work through the emotions that you feel in your day-to-day. Because a lot of the times we repress emotions because we don't know how to act on them, or we feel that it's inappropriate to act on them. And you'll find that those themes will come through in your dreams, and it will definitely affect the environment in your dreams. So sometimes you dream of a storm. Whenever you dream of a storm, you're just feeling overwhelmed. It's really as simple as that. Sometimes you will dream of a fire happening in your dream, and it means that something is being destroyed and that something has to be destroyed so that you can grow. Because what happens whenever fires happen? A lot of stuff is destroyed, but you gain a lot more after everything has been torn down and has been burned away. There are also a lot of dreams about animals. Do you guys ever dream about animals or have like animals come and visit you or come into your house?
So I talked to you, I think I posted something about this and we kind of messaged about it.
The
but I had
lion.
the lioness, and I've seen one several times in dreams, and it usually was like sometimes it was just one, sometimes it was several, but usually I sensed a danger that nobody else sensed, and the lions were not attacking me, but I could sense that at any moment them nuzzling me, or, you know, I could feel their power, and I knew like they could in an instant destroy
No.
everyone. But nobody else could sense this, so I was like super anxious.
Well, I do remember you posting about stuff that was going on in your life at that time. And what I really feel about that is that the lions represent your strength, because a lot of the times we're really scared of the strength that we carry in ourselves. And whenever people are crossing boundaries and whenever they are upsetting us, we can either be very strong in our resolve, or we can snap on them and we can attack them. And that's the danger of the lion, is that you can very clearly protect yourself, and that you definitely have the strength to protect yourself. But there's also a fear that if you like put your foot down, you're going to put it down too hard, and you're going to end up attacking the other person or causing them to feel attacked, even though you may not actively be attacking them.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, and after we talked a little bit, I kind of realized that I have this fear of, I do definitely have a fear of my own strength, but not physical strength, no fear there. But that if my strength is shown, that people will feel attacked, and then I'll lose them.
Yes.
So that was pretty spot on, I thought.
Well, most of the time, even if people do feel attacked, they always come back, and there's always some kind of resolve. So if you have to put your foot down and you are a little bit too mean, just go back and apologize, and they'll.
Or I can eat them. Either.
Yeah, you definitely could eat them. That's a really good option. Whenever people are annoying, definitely eat them.
I have a dream that's not necessarily related to animals, but something that stuck with me. And at the time that I had it, I was pregnant, so that's, I'm sure, part of it. But in the dream, I was losing my teeth in handfuls, and there were far more teeth than is in a human mouth, and they were crumbling and just everywhere, and I was like, I can't even afford dentures. What's going to happen? What's something that would cause that? What symbolism is there?
Uncertainty and anxiety. So anytime you have a dream about your teeth falling out, it's because you're feeling anxious, and it's because you're feeling uncertain. Once you feel that loss, I've had those dreams as well. Once you feel that first tooth come out, you start to think, what the fuck is going on with my body? And then another tooth comes out, and you're like, okay, this is not good. And then another tooth comes out, and then you start to bleed, and you're like, how am I ever going to eat again or smile again? I don't have any teeth left in my mouth. It's because you feel really anxious and overwhelmed in your waking life, and you feel that you don't have the necessary tools to work through whatever is happening in your life. So whenever you interpret that dream, whenever you start to think about it, you also have to consider where you could possibly be feeling anxious. When you're pregnant, obviously you're scared of something being wrong with the baby, or you're scared of the labor, and you're scared of what comes after, and how you're going to be able to parent that child, and how you're going to be able to raise them and support them and grow a healthy person. And so I think in that dream you were probably feeling anxious about what kind of mother you were going to be. And another thing about teeth is that they're really necessary for us to have. To be able to speak clearly and to eat, we have to have teeth. And in the sense that you were pregnant while you were having that dream, there could be a fear that you don't have all the necessary, that you're not really able to be, not that you're not able to be a good parent, but that you don't have all of the knowledge that you think that you should have to be a really good parent. And there it is. Thank you. Are there any other questions?
I had a dream where I was in the house that I live in now, but I opened up the door and all this mud came in, thick red mud, and I wasn't alarmed by it. It was an annoyance, and it just was flowing into my house, and I went about my business, but I was clumping through the mud, and I've been looking at what mud means. I just can't get a clear answer I don't understand why there's so much freaking mud in my house, so if you could help me with that.
So mud is really messy. And if you look at what mud is simply a mixture of dirt and water. But whenever mud comes into your house, it's really annoying. It slows you down, you have to stop and clean it up. And it's not necessarily the mud that you're dreaming of, but it's that like the annoyances and distractions that are happening around you where you really want to like go to your kitchen and bake a cake. But you can't because 5 people are texting you, someone wants to come over, someone wants to talk to you on the phone, you have all these other things and priorities going on when all you really want to do is just bake that cake. And everything else going on in your life that is kind of like slowing you down and distracting you from what you really want to do is the mud. And it's just that kind of like, it could actually also be, never mind, it couldn't be that because you're not even talking about that. I'm going over my head. It really is just, if you want to clear the mud out in your dream, you have to clear out the distractions, you have to clear out the annoyances that are going on around you that are keeping you from doing whatever it is that you want to do. You ready?
Hello. I love your cardigan, by the way.
Thank you.
So I've only had this dream like 3 or 4 times, I guess, in the past few months, but it's not so much a recurring dream, but more of like a recurring person in my dream who I haven't seen since like, I don't know, September of last year. And like, I don't contact him, he doesn't contact me, and he just kind of like pops up in my dreams as like a background character. Like, there was one where like we were cruising through downtown, I was like, I don't think you've even been in my car. And then there was one where we were like sleeping on the couch together. I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I feel like it's a weird attachment issue. There's also one where, there's one that definitely bothers me, and I kind of think I know what it is, but there's the car crash dreams, which are never fun, because I got like in a fender bender, and it wasn't even that bad, like last April, but it still like happens, and it's like right before impact, it's like,
That fear is something coming.
Yeah.
It's that fear of like being hit by something totally unexpected.
Totally.
And it's the fear of like everything that comes after being that like change from being hit by something unexpected.
Right.
Reoccurring people in your dreams, if it's someone you haven't talked to in a while, it's probably that you have some kind of unresolved emotion towards them. There's something that you really want to say, something that you feel that you haven't been able to say, and whenever you dream of them, like if you notice them, once you start to notice someone or something in your dream, you can actually kind of control your reaction to them. You can control like what you say to them. So if there's someone in your dream that's reoccurring, you haven't talked to, you don't have any contact with, what do you really want to say to them? If you can't say it to them in person, you can obviously say it to them in your dream. And chances are, if you're already dreaming of them, you already are thinking while you're dreaming of them exactly what you want to say to them. So a lot of these things that are coming up are kind of around anxiety. They're kind of centered around feeling unsure and uncertain. And the beauty of dreaming is that while you dream, you can actively work through those things, and you already are actively working through those feelings, because once you start to realize where you're feeling stuck and where you're feeling anxious and where you're feeling overwhelmed, you can change that in your waking life. But until you like accept and notice whatever you are feeling while you're dreaming, you're not really going to be willing to work on them, and you're definitely not going to be willing to notice them in your waking life. So let's say you have this project and you really want to nurture your project. You really want it to turn, like you want to take this egg and you want it to hatch, and you want there to be like this brilliant silken like chicken that comes out that's like 5 feet tall that lays golden eggs. That's what you're looking for. So you start to have dreams of pregnancy, you start to have dreams of babies, and you start to have dreams of like, you have dreams of small animals, of like baby bears and of like kittens. And what you're trying to tell yourself is that you really want to nurture that idea and you really want it to grow and expand. Sometimes, even if we have that idea in our head and even if we really want it to come to fruition, we're scared to work on it. Whenever we start having those dreams, it's a really clear sign that you need to start working on whatever your project is and whatever your baby is, whatever your creation is, you want to begin to give it your all so it can grow into whatever you want it to grow into. There's another tricky dream theme that I've noticed popping up lately is people are dreaming about technology, like phones and computers, and a lot of the times the phones will be broken in the dream. You'll drop your phone and you'll pick it up and your phone will be cracked. That's the worst kind of dream to have because it feels really real, and when you wake up you're like, oh shit, my phone. But anytime you have a dream about a computer or a phone or any kind of technology, it's really the way that you communicate with others, and it's the way that it's how free, really free you feel in communicating with others. So say you drop your phone in your dream. It means that you feel that there's broken communication, that you can't express your thoughts, you can express your ideas, and that you can't really be real with another person. Sometimes you'll get messages on your phone and they'll come through and it's really blurred, and that means that there is some kind of miscommunication with whatever is going on. There's some kind of miscommunication. It's a really clear sign. Dreams really aren't tricky and they really aren't scary, and it's really easy to interpret them. People just are intimidated by it because they don't really accept that your subconscious is constantly working through stimulus and stimuli, and it's constantly working through feelings, and your subconscious thrives not only on feelings, but it also thrives on symbolism because the human mind was wired for symbolism. Everyone knows that. You read the Bible, and there's a bunch of symbolism in the Bible with the crown of thorns on Jesus' head and with the purple robe where they mock him. There's also a lot of symbolism in mythology. There's the... I'm totally blanking up here. But we just really thrive on symbolism, and we really want to place extraordinary meaning on otherwise ordinary objects and events when there really is no extraordinary meaning. It's super simple. It's pretty clear cut. Once you cut through that fear of wanting to face your dreams, once you have taken that fear away and you've realized that your dreams don't tell the future, your dreams aren't going to tell you these insane messages that you should fly to Colombia and try to save the whole country from economic collapse. Your dreams really aren't going to tell you that. You already know that you want to do that. It's just something you're scared to face. And so your dreams are going to show you signs, and they're going to give you symbols, and they're going to force you to feel what's really going on in yourself. Have you guys ever had a dream where you're drowning, or where you feel like you're drowning and you're swimming and you can't get anywhere? That's a very clear sign that you are feeling overwhelmed in your emotions, that you really feel in waking life, that you are drowning in your emotions. Which is really scary, but it's just your mind's way of telling you, get some help. You don't have to drown. There is this book called The Secret Language of Emotions, and the woman who wrote it, she talks about how water relates to intuition and feelings. And the murky water, intuition and feelings are really murky, and they're really confusing, and it's really easy to kind of start to drown in them. Whenever you dream of water, it's almost always going to be murky unless you're very clear on how you feel. If you're very clear on how you feel, you can dream of a crystal blue pond. The next night, if you're very unclear and you're feeling very uncertain, whenever you dream of that crystal blue pond, it's going to be brown and green. It's going to be covered in algae, and you're going to feel really scared of it just because you really are feeling scared in waking life. to take. And so if we take a step back and we look at the idea that our subconscious is really communicating our feelings to us through our dreams, we can start to apply that to our waking lives, and that we know that there are feelings that we have to express. We know that there are things that we have to confront. And there is a lot of uncertainty in those things. We're never going to be very sure how it plays out. And that really is fine. If you take that next step and you just go forward with it and you don't continue to be bogged down by whatever is going on in your life, and you just become very clear on, really you don't even need to become very clear on it, you just need to go with it. And it's kind of just like putting one foot in front of the other, and just you have to keep walking and you have to keep going. And you can even have dreams like that where you're just walking down a path. I've had these dreams plenty of times. Sometimes I'm carrying a cow, not carrying the cow, but I have a cow on a rope, and I'm walking this cow with me down this path beside a river, and I'm just walking down it for miles. And that's the whole dream. It's just me walking and putting one foot in front of the other with this cow. Why the fuck there's a cow? I don't know why there's a cow, honestly. To me, cows represent community and kind of a herd culture, which is very different from who I am as a person. I'm pretty introverted. I don't really tend to follow the crowds. I don't really want to be part of a herd culture. But I'm carrying this lone cow with me because I know that ultimately community is really good for me. And I know that being connected with other people and sharing my ideas and letting them share with me is really beneficial. And it's just that a journey and that process really of putting one foot in front of the other. Are there any other questions? Any other?
I have a question. I've changed some recent habits recently, and for the past, I'd say five nights consecutively now, I've had just different dreams, and up until then, it seems like it's been more than a year since I've had the dreams. How often do you dream?
You dream 5 to 7 times every night, even if you don't remember it. It's just rapid eye movement that gives you different sensations and feelings and thoughts. The reason that you're remembering your dreams now and you're noticing them is because whatever habit you kicked was preventing you from remembering them. So if you drink before you go to bed, you're not going to remember your dreams. If you smoke weed before you go to bed, you are definitely not going to remember your dreams. Any kind of substance, whether it's liquor, weed, alcohol, alcohol, cigarettes, any kind of drug is going to inhibit you, and it's going to prevent you from remembering your dreams, any of them. So.
And also, I'd say at least about 4 of these dreams, it always, no matter what it is, fairly straightforward, but they always end up as my childhood apartment. I could be doing anything, but I'll be there at my childhood apartment or whatever, and then I'll be doing something else. But it also always seems to come back to there.
Well, there's obviously something in your childhood that you have to work through, and that you have to kind of get through, and you have to, in your dreams, you can actually kind of place the trauma, the age that it happened, and when it happened that you're trying to work through. The trauma could have been something as simple as showing your mom a picture that you painted and you were really excited about it, and she was just that's cool, and she played it on the table. That really could be the trauma that you keep going back to.
These aren't necessarily bad things or bad dreams per se. They just seem to happen there or be there at some point. It's just awkward to me, I guess. Maybe I spent a lot of time there because I've been about 15 years there.
There could also be a layer of there's something in your childhood that you left behind that you really want to start nurturing now. It could be innocence. It could be any kind of passion. If you were really passionate about playing music when you were a child, but you gave it up as you became older, what your dream wants you to do is to go back to playing music. Did you have any passions that you gave up as a child that you don't?
Not that I can put my finger on now.
Did you really like animals, but you weren't around animals a lot? Was there something that you just really were interested in that you never had the chance to actually like become involved with? Keep thinking about it. No problem. Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, I'm going to, hold on, this is the wrong piece of paper. That is. So there's this Rumi poem, and it's a poem about dreaming, and he says, "The dream at dawn has secrets to tell you, don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want, don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door sill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open, don't go back to sleep." Which really just means don't fall asleep on yourself. Whenever you are working through stuff in your dreams, don't let it continue to just work through your dreams. Place the boundaries, whatever it is that you need to do, whether it's following a passion, whether it's placing boundaries with your friends, whether it is just simply sitting still and accepting your life where it's at. Continue to do that. Don't just think that because you dream it, that it's going to resolve everything. You have to take the meanings and the messages from your dreams and really put them into practice in real life. Okay, that's it. Can I get off the stage now? Yeah!